Tales of deadly sea monsters are as old as time, but some stories are very recent. In a chain of islands in the West Indies, unexplained deaths have been attributed to a hideous underwater creature that drags down helpless prey to its deep and secret lair. Is this killer a figment of fevered imagination? Or am I looking for a deadly, real species? I must call on all my years of investigation to interrogate the myth and tease out the truth. My first task is to head to the crime scene. I'm taking a flight to the Lucian archipelago, part of the West Indies, and the island of Andros. Underneath the island lies a hidden network of passageways through the rock. Where these reach up to the surface, they form what are known as blue holes.
So this is a blue hole. This is actually in the middle of the island. And I'm just looking down into the depths.
There are more than 50 of these mysterious blue holes offshore, and over 170 inland, which have a layer of fresh water over salt water. Incredibly, 80% of them remain unexplored, but depths have been measured close to 1,000 feet. What could be living down inside them?
Very clear water, very dark water. It's quite a spooky feeling looking down into that. I've never seen anything like that before.
These island populations are an eclectic mix of African, European and Asian cultures, giving a unique Caribbean flair. They're proud of their kinship with the sea. Here, fishing is not just an industry, it's a way of life. I skirt the coast south, towards the location of a recent mysterious disappearance at an inland blue hole. I'm on my way to meet a man who apparently can take me to the exact spot where one of these incidents happened, where somebody was plucked from the surface, never to be seen again. Peter has lived on this remote part of the island his whole life and was involved in the search for the victim's body.
Well, there was a story about some kids came from school, wander in the back here, and they were right over in that area there because that's the shortest access to the blue hole.
When blue not so deep? Wait, I wouldn't jump.
The boys clambered down through a small passageway in the rock. They swam here often, and there didn't appear to be anything out of the ordinary about the water that day. But the locals say something was waiting for them. When the ball was thrown towards the middle of the blue hole, one of the boys swam to retrieve it.
Three kids left and two come back.
There was nothing found whatsoever.
Nothing. You don't find any remains. There's nothing, no clothing, nothing. And this always goes to the folklore that the Lusca monster's taken them.
So the monster has a name.
The Lusca monster is a half shark, half octopus type creature. So it grabs you and pushes you into this shark mouth and eats you. So that's quite a big creature, whatever it is, to consume an entire human being.
So do you believe that the Lusca exists?
I believe that there's a Lusca monster in the blue hole, definitely. Something that has this amount of labyrinths, anything could be under there.
It's interesting, though, that despite this belief, it doesn't make people completely keep out of the water. They're careful, but they still go in the water.
We all saw Jaws, we still go swimming, right?
Peter's description of the beast known as the Lusca sounds outlandish. But anything capable of suddenly dragging a person under would have to be big, fast, and powerful. I have no idea what could be living in these very deep holes, and I'm not dismissing anything yet. But if I actually hooked something from this high, sharp, rocky bank, I'd never land it. And I'm told that after a number of fatalities, diving here is out of the question. So I'm taking my rod to where the interconnecting tunnels meet the sea. If there is a monster inland, it came from out here. I can see schools of agile fish darting around. I don't know what they are, but I'm reminded of schooling fish of similar size and speed. The tigerfish of southern Africa and the piranhas of South America. Many teeth can make light work of human flesh. Maybe I'm not looking for just one killer. Maybe it's a gang of flesh eaters. Right, this water here is very shallow, so I'm going to use a fly on the end, which actually is not mimicking an insect at all. It's mimicking a small fish. It's quite silvery, quite flashy. I'm going to retrieve this in fairly short, rapid jerks, about 2 or 3 foot at a time. The idea is that movement is going to register in the peripheral vision of any predator that's down there, and then in theory what it does, it's going to lock on. I wait for a group to approach and then cast out in front of them. Underneath these salt flats lie the tunnels that link to the inland blue holes. I want to find out what's feeding out here and potentially entering those tunnels. Sea fishing is not my area of expertise, and this landscape is like nowhere I've fished before, so I've no idea what I might find. Here we go, fish on. As it gets closer, I can see it's a bonefish. These are very streamlined, fast fish. They are in groups. I was wondering if they were pack hunters, but looking in the mouth there's no teeth. It's just quite rubbery lips. So, what's that speed for? When they're feeding, they don't seem to be feeding on anything that is particularly fast-moving. They tend to be sort of like grubbing around in the sand. I reckon that speed could be all about getting away from something. No sooner does the thought cross my mind than the answer becomes clear. There's a shark there, shark. A juvenile lemon shark prowling the shallows. May not be the size of a man-eater, but it's unlikely to be alone. And since the mythical Lusca is often described as being a large animal with shark-like characteristics, I need to consider the largest known predators in these waters. I'm heading north to visit a research program that monitors the movements and behaviors of different shark species to try and find out more.
The place where I'm going now is just a short hop away, and in comparison to Andros, it's just a tiny speck of land. But what's special about South Bimini, well, people say if you want to see a lot of sharks in a short space of time, this is the place to go. It's like someone has drilled a hole down through the flats.
Blue holes like this one in the seabed are said to be every bit as dangerous as the inland holes. Mysterious disappearances, reports of fishermen dragged under, divers vanishing without a trace. Horrifying tales all blamed on the Lusca. But could a shark be the culprit? I meet up with shark scientist Dr. Samuel Gruber.
Morning.
Well, welcome to the Shark Lab. Good
Yeah,
to
looks
see
like I'm
you.
at the right place.
The Bimini Shark Lab was established in the 1990s and has been a hotbed of leading research ever since. This location is known worldwide for its extraordinarily high concentration of different shark species. If there is a prolific man-eater stalking these islands, Dr. Gruber is the person to help me find it. In this region, there are stories of people disappearing in blue holes. What would be your take on that?
That's not a story, that's happened. That's real. That's as real as can be. But what are we talking about here? A lot of people have been dragged down in those blue holes. They went down without wanting to go down, and they couldn't get up again.
From the point of view of the general public, what is rightly or wrongly seen as the most dangerous shark in these waters?
The most dangerous shark in these waters is the tiger shark. And they can get to 20 feet. That's a really, really big animal.
Tiger sharks have this reputation of being sort of the garbage collectors of the sea. Is that a true characterization?
It is not only a fair description, it's accurate. If you look at the stomach contents of tiger sharks, you find everything from other shark species to birds, to lobster, to conch, and they eat humans. They eat humans. They do eat humans.
So there are man-eaters here. But to explain the sudden disappearances, I need to find out if the sharks are making targeted attacks or just feasting on remains.
Quite beautiful.
Either way, its huge size and lightning speed makes the tiger shark my main suspect so far. Dr. Gruber's team is tagging tiger sharks around South Bimini. By helping the scientists, I get a privileged chance to get up close and assess this shark's deadly potential.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to put it in gear.
We set a series of baited hooks, the team's usual method for catching a tiger. Sharks have been spotted inside the oceanic blue holes, so could they be using the tunnels under the island to travel inland?
So that is the long line set. Now, next time I see those hooks, one or more of them could well have something else on them.
But I've successfully caught big sharks before, so I'm also going to cast out a line of my own, just for good measure.
The stories I've been hearing have been of people being plucked from the surface, so I'm not going to be fishing down on the bottom. I'm putting a float about 5 foot away from the hook. That's going to keep the bait round about where somebody's feet would be if they were treading water. I'm using wire because I'm after something with teeth, and then a fairly meaty circle hook on the end.
I don't have to wait long for a bite.
Here we go.
Almost immediately, I'm battling something large and powerful.
This is heavy. Ah! It's on the surface. There it is. Still got strength in it.
It's a reef shark.
There we go. You see the friction burns on my thumb there?
There are at least 4 species of reef shark, all smaller than the tiger shark. But they are sleek, muscular fish built for speed and with a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. They're certainly not creatures you'd want to get on the wrong side of. But are they man-eaters?
Seventeen, yeah.
Once the team has gathered all the data, I remove the hook and release the reef shark back into the water.
Actually swam off very strongly. But the strength of that on the end of a line, well, I mean, it burnt my thumb. And I think if that was attached to your foot, for example, you'd have no say in the matter, you'd just be under the water. But what I'm wondering is whether that would actually hold on to your foot, or whether it would just take a bite. I think the only way to establish the bigger picture, I've actually got to get in the water.
I want to see how reef sharks behave when presented with larger bait, and how they react to a human in the water. Soon, it's clear from the activity on the surface that they don't feed alone.
Well, the sharks are here, no doubt about that. The bait's ready, and down it goes.
I carry out my final checks before following the bait cage down.
Sharks all around me, all around me. Ooh. So these are reef sharks. They're resident here on the reef, and they're sizable, they're good sized fish. This is quite a spectacle, lots of fish. They are very concentrated, very stirred up and excited by the smell of the bait.
Caribbean reef sharks are common in these parts. They can grow up to 10 feet in length and on occasion have attacked divers.
They're getting very close, they're going for the bait, but they're not going for me.
But only a few years ago, a diver right here had to fend off an aggressive assault from a reef shark. As their numbers increase around me, so too does their confidence.
Oh, that was coming right towards me. I think it might be time for me to get out.
I need to get out of this situation, but now my exit involves passing through a pack of hungry sharks. I have to try and keep calm and move slowly, as the shark's acute senses can pick up on my heightened heart rate, and I'm already feeling pretty vulnerable.
Quite a frenzy going on. They're everywhere. That's pretty intense. But whether they'd actually take somebody down, I think they're capable of it, but I don't think they'd have the motivation. But in terms of actually clearing up remains down on the bottom, well, having seen the way that they were going at that bait box, absolutely no doubt that they could do that. No doubt at all.
One of the key features of a Lusca attack is that no remains are ever found. In a pack of reef sharks, I've certainly found a potential body disposal team, but not the assassin itself. Since last night, the team have been checking the long line, and at last, there's something on it. Could the assassin be waiting for me?
There's something big on the long line. We're hoping that it's a tiger shark. And actually, I can see a long shape in the water up there. That's a very big shark. Very hard to say how big that is. It's down several feet, but this is definitely, you know, definitely a serious sized fish. It's on the surface, it's on the surface.
It's a big tiger shark.
Here we go, dorsal, got the dorsal, got the dorsal, yeah.
Many fish can be dangerous to handle, but it's a whole other level when the animal in question weighs hundreds of pounds and has a mouth as wide as a garbage can, lined with curving, serrated teeth. Once the shark is under control, the team sets to work.
347 centimeters, so 10 to 12 feet.
About 12 foot total length.
That's over twice my length. A shark of this size could easily snatch a full-grown man from the surface, so a child would have no chance. Tiger sharks are solitary hunters and are in the top 3 in terms of danger to humans, along with bull sharks and great whites.
All right, tie on. Don't fool around. Pull the boat in. Pull the boat in.
And that was a transmitter just going in, and there are a number of receivers around the islands here, and that transmitter will speak to the receivers. It will give information on where this shark goes after today, after we've released it. I don't think I've seen surgery like this quite before. Can you flip it the other way up there?
Finally, I insert an ID tag into the dorsal fin.
Beautiful! Expert!
We're gonna get that tag number and then we're good to go.
All right, let's go, guys. Let's go.
The release is an absolutely crucial time. Someone must get in the water to ensure that when it's freed, the shark stays upright and swims off strongly. Today, that someone is me. The ropes are released, and I take hold of the fins of a shark twice my length. It's an incredible sensation. I can feel the giant predator gaining power. Then, it's gone.
What a massive animal, massive animal. There was a moment there when I thought it was going to turn around and take a mouthful out of me, but actually it just swam off. So, what does that say about tiger sharks?
There's one other apex predator in these waters that I need to investigate. Along with some sizable bait, we've attached an underwater camera to the line. What I'm hoping to catch may not have the reputation of the tiger shark, but it's no less dangerous. And with its unique head designed for panoramic vision, the hammerhead shark is a prolific hunter. I want to see how hammerheads feed, but I'm not in a hurry to get in the water with any more sharks. So I leave it to the compact camera to capture the action.
Right, we've lost the camera. That's not supposed to... Has that happened before? No, that's not happened before. That's just bit clean through the cable. That is cable. That is thick cable, and it's never happened before here. So if we can retrieve the camera that was here, if it's not being digested as we speak, there might be some interesting footage.
Once the coast is clear, we search for the camera.
Excellent, thank you very much. Congratulations. Lovely. Well, it looks like there's a bit of water in there, but if we can get something off here, this is the witness. This saw what happened.
I head back to the Shark Lab to download the footage. Could what's inside help identify a killer? There is the bait. This is good. Sinking, 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 sinking. Boom. It's just been taken by a hammerhead. And it's running with it. It's running. It's gone a few feet. Right, it took it and spat it out. It's coming back at it again. For something that by rights shouldn't be able to see where it's going, it is being so precise here. It's taking it again, it's taking it again. It's running with it. It's thrashing. That was the moment when it actually sort of bit through the leader. Right, that is the end. But that's quite incredible. It's always frustrating when you don't get the fish. But to be honest, from my point of view, I think I've got the information that I needed, which was, well, as soon as that bait hit the bottom and started to move, that fish was onto it immediately. So I think if a person met an untimely end, a hammerhead would absolutely be capable of finding the remains and polishing them off. Having observed both the tiger shark and the hammerhead's behaviour, I'm having second thoughts. These sharks appear more like scavengers. And because of their sheer bulk, I can't imagine either of them navigating the narrow, twisting passageways to the inland blue holes. As for the other sharks that I've observed here, I somehow don't feel that they are behind these stories either, but the trouble is, where does that leave me? What else is down there? I know that when I reach a dead end in an investigation, I need to interrogate the myth further and speak to the people who live with this legend.
Hello.
Timer is a deep-sea fisherman who claims to have seen a shark-like tentacled creature near an oceanic blue hole. I'm told that one day you saw something very strange out there.
Yes.
What was that?
We were fishing for Dorado, and we happened to come across this strange animal. I thought it was a whale shark, but getting within 50 feet of it, found out it was a strange animal with tentacles and the head of a shark. The head was kind of similar to a mako shark, has a real pointed nose.
And how long were the tentacles?
The tentacles was the last thing we saw. The whole thing was about 8 feet. Yeah.
I mean, do you think this could have been a Lusca you saw even?
It could have been. So I'll always remember that until the day I die.
I remember when I was a kid having a strange picture book where the pages were divided so you could mix different animals, creating some weird and sometimes terrifying hybrids. And that makes me turn my mind again to the Lusca, supposedly part shark, part octopus. Perhaps it's now time that I turn my attention to the octopus. This feels different from any fish. This is an octopus. They are masters of camouflage. They are shapeshifters. They can blend in with the background. They are amazingly intelligent. They're just incredible animals. It's a cephalopod, so it's made up of a head and a foot. And confusingly, the foot, the bottom bit, has 8 arms, and each one has powerful suction cups. They have no skeleton, external or internal, but they do have a very powerful beak in the middle of all those arms. When they catch their prey, they deliver it to the beak, and that will rip and tear the prey apart. I recently saw some amateur footage from Australia, perfectly illustrating what amazing and surprising hunters octopus are. Not bound by the limitations of fish, it leaps from the water and pursues its prey over land. It's a predator playing by a different rulebook. This is a juvenile Caribbean reef octopus. Adults can have a span of over 4 feet, tentacle tip to tentacle tip. That's unlikely to harm a human, if we're to believe an octopus is somehow responsible for stories of swimmers and divers gone missing. However, in 2011, the remains of an octopus washed up on these shores, which if complete could have spanned more than 20 feet. Is this proof that giant octopus do exist here? If the Lusca is a big one of these, that's actually quite a terrifying prospect. If this beast was scaled up to the size of the creature that's been described to me, could those tentacles pluck somebody from the surface? Well, absolutely they could. Could the beak tear you apart into pieces? Again, absolutely. Would anything be found? Absolutely not. Without a bone in its body, a 50-pound octopus can squeeze through a 2-inch hole, so it would have no problem negotiating the narrowest of tunnels under the island. I'm travelling to meet a fisherman who believes that giant octopus can be found in these waters, and he also says they possess immense strength.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Are you Brad?
I'm Brad.
All right, if I come on board?
Yes,
Yeah.
come aboard.
Right.
Welcome aboard.
Hello, I'm Jeremy.
I'm Brad. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you. I hear you've got a story about something that happened on a crab boat out here. What was that exactly?
I know call it that traps for crab.
The crew were out at sea setting traps for crab. Once full, they started to haul them up from the seabed. But one of the traps had something heavy attached to it.
For that depth of water, whatever it is holds that trap. It got to be huge. Whatever it was holding the boat, it started to pull the boat along. For something to be pulling your boat at that speed, it'd have to be something very huge.
What happened? Did they get it up near the surface?
No, they never got it up to the surface. They got it up about halfway, and whatever it was, just let go of the cable and the pop.
So let go. So did they get they got the trap back in? When the trap was brought back onto the boat, they could see it had been crushed. What do you think might have done that, possibly?
I've been on the sea all my life. The first thing comes to my mind is an octopus.
So you think an octopus, but much bigger than what you normally see?
Right.
I've heard some people around here talking of something called a Lusca. Have you heard of that at all?
Being on the sea most of my life, I've seen some big fish and stuff out there that I thought never exists on the surface. So I would like to imagine what's beneath the surface.
Octopus are incredibly intelligent. If I'm to stand a chance of seeing one, I'll have to go down into a blue hole myself. Along with Timer's sighting, I've read of 2 others that have occurred in or around an oceanic blue hole. Boat captains have described a huge creature briefly breaking the surface, and dark shapes shifting over the reef into the ominous depths. Timer is going to take me out to the spot where he says he saw the Lusca. I'm going to drop a line in to see what might bite. We've come to beyond the drop-off. We're in about 6,000 feet of water here. We're about a mile deep. This is deep blue water. Right, so it's the bait rigged. A little sort of plastic skirt on the nose there. That will stop it spinning, stop it breaking up, and just give a bit of added attraction. Right, and the one other thing is to put this on. I don't really want that sticking in my stomach. Right, we're now set up. We've got 2 lines out, 2 baits skittering on the surface, something like 40, 50 yards behind. Something soon takes the bait.
Here we go, it's a tuna. Oh, that's taken off, that's taken off. It's not a huge fish, but the way that took off when it saw the boat, incredible power for a fish that size. So, yellowfin tuna. And that hit within a few minutes of getting the bait out. This is a very fast fish, very powerful fish. I guess what I'm interested in is what might be out here that's going to make a meal of this.
We reset the lines, hoping for a bigger catch.
Yeah, it's up near the surface. Right, what a fantastic looking fish. This is a fish that has many different names. They call it a dolphin fish, they call it a mahi-mahi, they call it a dorado. One thing that's very interesting about this fish is it has a very extensive range. It's found both in the Atlantic and also in the Pacific. And fast. Everything in this open water is fast. Sometimes to hunt, these are hunters, but sometimes to get away from hunters. So this is an impressive, strong fish, but certainly not capable of pulling anybody down from the surface. And I think to find something that might be able to do that, I'm going to have to try a different approach.
It's time to get back in the water and finally explore the blue hole. I have no idea what might be living in this darkness. It's a dangerous, deep dive. With all the caverns and crevices, it's very disorienting. And the further I venture into the depths, the harder it becomes to see the surface. It's every bit the monster's lair. And as the passages narrow, the idea that a shark large enough to take a person could negotiate this stony honeycomb seems increasingly implausible. An octopus, however, even a giant one, would have no difficulty at all.
I'm at about 150 feet here. It's just absolutely black down there. There's no way of saying how far that goes. That's what might be down there, but there's no way I'm going any further to find out. Time for me to head on back out, I think.
Down at these depths, even rock formations can play tricks with your mind and take on a sinister, lifelike appearance. I may not have seen anything big down there, but I get the feeling something big might have seen me. I've been jostling with the deadly, predatory qualities of both sharks and octopus, pitting them against each other in my mind. Now, though, I've been sent extraordinary footage that leaves nothing to the imagination. This footage was shot at an aquarium in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. Something was killing off their shark, so they staked out the tank with a camera to record any evidence. As a zoologist, my natural reaction to this, other than amazement, is to ask, if an octopus can catch and consume a shark, could a large one take down and devour a person? I've uncovered a report from a man who has no doubt about the answer, based on terrifying personal experience. I've got to find out more. I'm taking a flight to Washington State's Puget Sound to meet a man who had a terrifying encounter with the world's largest known species of octopus. Ron Alt says he's lucky to be alive.
I've been diving Puget Sound since the 80s. I've encountered many different octopus, but the one encounter, the biggest on my mind is, I was working in northern Puget Sound.
Ron was dive fishing for sea cucumbers to sell to the fish market when he came across something far bigger and much more valuable.
So I was on the bottom, picking up the sea cucumbers. In between two large rocks, I see a huge octopus, and I went $5 a pound. So I grabbed the octopus, and immediately it tried to get away. And the next thing I realized, he'd pulled me up about 10 foot off the bottom, but I still had a hold of him. All of a sudden, the octopus arms went all the way around me, and all I felt was the beak on top of my head. The mass started squeezing over to one side. Every suction cup that I could feel against the suit, my hands, my face, I could not get away. As far as I knew, I could drown right at that moment.
Ron continued to fight the octopus as his fishing partners pulled him to the surface by his tether rope. So once you got to the surface, it took 3 of you to get it under control.
It really took a long time. Eventually, we got it up on the boat.
With 3 of you, you were able to get it in the plastic box?
Yes, we threw a lid on it. 50 pounds of weight on top of that. But the octopus actually pushed the lid up. Over the side he went.
I've heard some stories from the Atlantic of people being plucked from the surface, remains not being found. Do you think that could potentially be octopus?
I'm sure.
The more I hear about these giant octopus, the more formidable they are. If they are so stealthy, intelligent and powerful that they can pluck a shark from the water column and devour it, then what chance has a human being got in an underwater struggle? Unless you're really lucky, like Ron was, there's only one way that's going to end. The dark, icy waters of Puget Sound are a far cry from the tropical archipelago, but both places are home to a number of octopus species which share the same predatory behaviour. For my best chance of an octopus encounter, I'm using a rebreather unit. This circulates and refreshes the air I'm breathing without the release of bubbles, helping me to stalk a giant octopus without being noticed. It's another very challenging dive, and I struggle to adapt to the low light. These dark depths are home to some truly bizarre creatures.
Warfield? Well, this is not what I was looking for, but this is quite a monster in its own right. Amazing what you'll find wedged into the smallest places. What a weird looking thing. So something lives here. By the look of this, there's scattered shells. What we've got here looks like it is an octopus den. And the thing is not to be deceived by the size of the opening.
giant Pacific octopus.
The largest known species of octopus, and certainly the biggest octopus I've ever encountered. It's not showing any signs of aggression, but it is in no way intimidated by our presence or our lights.
It squeezes through these tiny little gaps.
A creature like this would have no difficulty overcoming the rocky passageways beneath Andros.
You seem to disappear and then reappear again. Very impressive animal.
Incredibly, the octopus that seized Ron would have dwarfed this, spanning between 15 and 20 feet.
What an encounter. They grow bigger than this, but this is an impressive animal.
And when it goes from walking to swimming, this shapeshifter does indeed look somewhat shark-like. Is this how the hybrid legend originated?
Looking right into its eyes.
Intelligent, aggressive, opportunistic, and incredibly maneuverable, this secretive giant is a supreme aquatic predator.
Really makes you think, thinking back to the blue hole. What could be lurking in those crevices down there?
If the blue holes of Andros were indeed to harbour a giant octopus, it's easy to understand how it might have remained hidden, and how, in the labyrinths of the human imagination, this extraordinary creature could have inspired the legend of the Lusca.
Just what a weird animal it is. You have the mouth in the middle there, surrounded by tentacles, and inside there you can see the beak.